Ain't going live. It's doing its thing. We'll see in a second. Saying live now. 5 seconds. Okay. All right. I can't go that far away. They're very excited, which is good, and we can see ourselves. But let's get that other camera rolling so you guys can actually see what's going on. Okay, rather than just my screen. Darren, they're seeing this one at the moment, but I'm just going to switch again. Let's go to number 3. Probably, yeah, there we go. Number 2. Yeah, that's easy. So this is the one that's showing. We've got 2 cameras and the computer, so it's a little confusing. Hi guys, I'm Oliver. This is my isolation beard, and this is Kieran and Nikki, who are our models today. Yeah, Kieran had an isolation moustache, but it's gone. Didn't stay. We wanted him to look nice today. And today I'm talking about, I guess, how to work with models. So here's our models. I have been doing this a little while. It's hard to give it a number because I assisted for ages, but the big thing I want you guys to walk away with today is an understanding of just what you really should be looking for, and I guess treat them like people mainly. That's probably a big one. But before I go on too much, I want to let them do an introduction about themselves because they're not just two-dimensional objects. So, Kieran?
Hello, I'm Kieran. Nice to meet everybody. What was I meant to say?
Yeah, just introduce yourself.
I've been doing a little bit of modelling, all freelance. It's all come through just lots of connections by luck and stuff.
Yeah, feel like us?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. We met on a job.
That's true.
Yeah.
Through a lot of lifestyle photography I've done, and that's met quite a few people. That's really cool.
Hey, I'm Nikki, and I'm with Bella Management, and I've been modelling for about 10 years, which is a pretty long time. I started when I was very young. I don't know if you could hear me, but I started when I was very young.
Yeah, I just thought it's important to kind of give you guys. So I found both of them through Instagram. Often I go through agencies like Bella, who I've worked with a few times. I think that's an important part just because it's so crucial in terms of like understanding where everyone's come from. For me, the first part, and this is something that I think, because I haven't even asked them to get clothes or anything that we're going to do, is talk a little bit about, I guess, brief. So one of the things that I gave both Kieran and Nikki is just an idea of what clothes to bring, because this is just a test shoot, test being just a simple, unpaid kind of like get together where I'm creating images for them. And I gave them some references or a mood board with images saying this is the kind of mood that we're going to go for, and that's good because it means that they're not turning up without any clothes, or they know what to bring, they know where the car park is, we found it. And like it gives them an idea of all the stuff that's important. And I'll just quickly bring up the one that I gave them so that you guys can see. I'm going to bring up Kieran's because I think it's just going to be probably easier to find. Yep, here we go, and just go to screen 3. Yep, so you should be able to see that. Gives a date, moisturizer, don't stay out all night. Just kind of a few reference points, clothes. And then the last part, and I do include this with almost everyone, is duty of care form. Duty of care just means that if they feel uncomfortable or there's something that they don't want to do, they know they can say no. I mean, the big thing with a lot of modelling is people generally start quite young, and I think it's important that they're aware of what they're allowed to set their own boundaries. So for me, that's a big one. And yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of the first part. So what we'll do to start is I'll get them to kind of like, we'll pick some clothes, and then we'll start shooting. Oh yes, the final thing on that as well is, so today we're using some Pro Photo lights, well, a Pro Photo light, just a 2x3 softbox, some black board here, well, like a black backdrop, white cardboard backdrop, keeping it nice and simple, really. I'll switch so you guys can see from the other camera. Yep, so you can see like it's just kind of like, yeah, boom, boom. Yeah, so let's go from there. I'll get Kieran to kind of like grab a few options. We'll pick something that we think works, and then yeah. So if you want to grab stuff, Kieran, and then we'll And Nikki, you can relax for a minute. So if you want to sit down, we'll start with just Kieran. We'll talk a little bit, and I'm going to switch mics as well, so that I'm not just holding this and running around like a madman.
We like.
Yeah. Cool. That's all right. Whatever options you have are good. We're not aiming for.
All the options.
Cool. Just switching mics so they can't hear anything yet. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's see. Sweater's nice. Okay, there we go. So switch mics. Okay, I quite
glasses, which I don't actually need.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, that's some stuff leaving for the day. I quite like that jacket because it's just got a little bit more with the white. I think with the white and untuck the shirt. We did do a tuck-in shirt test photo stuff. And yeah, I think the big thing here as well is like just figuring out what you want to do here, like whether we're going like from here from like headshots, or we're kind of going to tether with an app called or application called Capture One, which is kind of the industry standard, and I will switch between showing you here and showing you what's going on camera. The good thing as well is because Kieran here has quite a bit of experience, where I'm not too worried about what he's doing so much. But it's important to then go, like if we go back to the references quickly, let's go down to 3. You'll see like there's a few like close-ups and things, and for those photos especially, like it's really important to like explain to them what's happening and what you're kind of looking for, because otherwise it's kind of like really difficult to work out what. But Kieran's just gonna be like, I don't know what you want from me, and that's kind of, I think it's a key thing for like modeling. It's often not so much a trick, but no one actually talks about it. So we're going to start with that nice little one. So let's open Capture, and we've got the camera set up. The good thing as well here is we're keeping the light really, really simple. Again, it's more about direction. We've got a blue mark, X marks the spot on the ground. I'm going to switch cameras just so you guys can see a little bit more what's going on. Otherwise, it's just me standing in front of Kieran. We'll take a test image, and we'll just switch so you guys can see that. Yeah, not bad. The light's pretty good, but obviously we're gonna like work on his facial expression. Yeah. I'm thinking for these ones to start with, we're just gonna go, a little bit more of an angle. Yeah, eyes to me. We'll start with like some nice, like strong headshots, and we'll kind of punch in a bit more. Maybe tilt the jaw a bit as well. Yeah, that's good. Staying nice and tight. Sweet. Cool. That's a little. Some of them are a little dark there, but like you can kind of see. You could see for a second there. It was the shot. So I'll take a few more so you guys can see what I'm actually doing as well. Similar sort of vibe. Have a bit of fun with it now though. Like we've taken a few serious ones. Yeah, that's great. Actually, that's nice when you're looking that way. Yeah. Just because we're getting a little bit more light across your entire face rather than just part of it. Because the light's quite directional right now. Like I think that's a really important note to make. Like making sure I'm keeping an eye on where the light's coming from, because it affects how much light's on his face, as you can see. If he looks one way or the other, the shadows. So we're keeping it quite, again, quite simple, quite plain. I might bring the polyboard in a little bit. What I'll do as well is, rather than just leave poor Nikki in the corner, I reckon just something dark, so we pop a little bit more than the background. So if you want to grab 1 or 2 options whilst I get this in, and we'll just go from there. Really wish we could do music today, guys, but I have a feeling if we did that, YouTube would take this down. So we're keeping it kind of quiet.
Like a leather jacket or a dark singlet top?
I reckon dark singlet top would be good. Let's start there. If you want to go in and stick that on in there.
Or this one?
That singlet.
Bodysuit.
Bodysuit? Yeah, with the pants?
Yeah,
perfect.
Bodysuit with jeans.
Yeah, perfect, yeah. And that's an important one, guys, just knowing what you're kind of looking for. Like, I've picked out references, so I kind of have an idea where we're going to go with this. And for me, the first look is usually a warm-up look. So today we are keeping it quite simple, but I think that's an important thing to note as well. We are. We're matching right now. I think I like my jacket more though. Just FYI. Just checking whether you guys can hear us, making sure everything's going good still, because I don't want to leave you in the lurch. And Maria, just quickly, yeah, I can put the brief in Dropbox link after, so you guys can see what I gave them. So for both Nikki and for Kieran. I think we might do a few longer shots. So what we'll do here as well is like the hard part is with this work as well is like making sure that like when you're shooting wider that you're looking at all the little bits and bobs that can go wrong. I mean, I think we're going to probably move on quite quickly with Kieran, just because I think the white shirt at the bottom, it's a little crumpled. It's kind of the look he came in on. Again, this is a warm up for us rather than it's like we're not being too serious here. Yeah. Yep, that poly board should be a little better as well. It's just so you guys can see. Yeah, got a little bit more light coming in. I might bring it in a little bit more just so. This is just cardboard I've got here on the left, guys. Just so you can see what I've brought in, because you can't see it from that. It's literally just a piece of cardboard, some clamps, and it's just bouncing that light straight back, so you can kind of see what's going on. All right, so you can kind of see Kieran as well, because I'm standing in front of the other angle. I'll just make sure I'm not getting too much in front of you guys. We're sticking with the 24-70 as well, just because it's a nice easy lens, and I'm just having a look what's going on here. As you see, I'm referencing back to capture quite a lot. It's like it's an easy way to do things. Tethering means that they can see themselves and they know what's going on, rather than me just saying, oh yeah, it's a good photo. Like, I think it does help build rapport, and it also, rather than me constantly giving feedback, it allows them to kind of understand exactly what I'm doing.
My vanity, I need to see myself.
Yeah, exactly. As Kieran said, vanity, they want to see themselves.
Mine was like seeing themselves in pictures. Like, is it good? Am I pretty?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, it is so important, because otherwise it's like you just don't know where things are going. So tethering is kind of like outdoors, it's a nightmare. Generally speaking, you need often what's called a digital assistant who's on the laptop, just because you don't want to drag it along the sand. It's very hard to check your settings and at the same time hold the camera. We've got a desk today, so that's our digital assistant. Again, we're keeping not too many people in here, obviously, with things there where they are right now. We'll take just a few more, Kieran, because I think we'll switch tops in a sec. But we'll just do a few more. Yeah, have a bit of fun with it now. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit more floaty. It's kind of fun, yeah. See how that light, because we are moving around a bit. Let's just bring them up. Yeah, that's nice. It's very what's the word? That was almost like a big W or it's a photo. Yeah, like very ecom. I didn't find that last one, but yeah, we got. I quite like a few of those. So yeah, I reckon I quite like the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
And yeah, keep the jeans. And yeah, do use the buffer. The palm trees. Yeah, I reckon the palm trees first.
Can you see my feet?
No, we're not going to shoot that way.
They're nice socks, don't worry.
Yeah, okay, cool. Alright. Yeah, so we're just going, Nikki's just wearing like a nice simple look. Again, this is our starting point. We're not making it too hard. We don't want, I always find it's like going for, playing a football match or any sort of thing. You want to warm up, you want to kind of get into the flow of it, you want to feel comfortable, and I think it's a good way. I always think the first look's sometimes a throwaway, sometimes you get some great stuff out of it. It depends on the person, it does depend on how long they've been doing this, and so many other factors that just are often out of your control. And I think the important thing is, rather than kind of just push, which generally speaking, when there's drama on set, it's often that's the sort of thing that's being spoken about. But for me, it's like you want people to warm up and feel comfortable, and I think that way you get better photos. That's kind of the main reason I do it. I don't want to be an ass. Anyway, so let's start. It's just like a nice simple one. Let's see, the light's now working because the last shot didn't fire. Yep. With this, I might just bring it a little bit more front on. I just think the light's maybe a little too on the nose, just so you can see. What I'm looking at is it's just this side, I just think it's a little too dark. It can be flattering sometimes, it depends on the person, and that's the other thing like I'm looking at, is whether it does work or doesn't. And I'm going to quickly grab the other battery just to make sure, because this one looks a little low. Make sure this one's charged. Yep, I've got another full battery. The good thing with the Pro Photo units is they are battery powered, which means I don't have to worry about the amount of cords. There are lots of cords on the floor right now for the live stream. One less for the lights, which is good. Just think a little bit more around. Cool. Yeah, I like this. I think this will work. So let's switch back to the screen just so you can see. Yeah, I just think that's going to be a little more flattering, a little more direct. As you can see, Nikki definitely knows what she's doing, so I'm not providing too much feedback right now. I'm kind of just figuring out what's going to work, what's not. I think with the black look, I'm thinking just a little less side on. It's a personal choice there as well. Like I'm making decisions about what I'm looking for. References for me are a big part of that. Also, just the more you shoot, I'd say, for me, a couple of years ago, I did 100 test shoots in a year just to make myself feel more comfortable and just get better photos. And the more you shoot, the easier it is to figure out what you want, what you like. Some people might not like your stuff, but that's often a good thing because it means that you're working out what you want to create, not what your necessarily clients want. All right, shoot again. As you can see, I'm going to shoot from this side just so you can see where the light's coming. As you can see, it's just firing straight down. Yeah, that's good. That's great. Yeah, I really like that where it's just like straight shoulders. Yeah, look, the angle is really nice. Yeah. So I'll just let you guys see what I'm seeing there, so you can see. You'll see in a second. Again, the screen takes longer. I'm shooting faster than that. Cool. Yeah, like I love the collarbones in this, and so for me, that's a big thing I'm looking at right now.
Thanks, I agree with you.
Yeah. and yeah, it's those details. It's kind of like every person's different. You're often looking for different. You're always looking for different features for different people, and for me, that's a big one. It's like I quite like angular shots. I like creating a lot of shape. You can do that in a variety of ways. Lighting is obviously one of them, and today that's probably one that we're not paying too much attention to, just because keeping it simple, just so where I'm not introducing a lot of other elements that aren't really important for this. I will say the only annoying thing here is the color balance on the screen for some reason is out. It's not as green as it looks. I don't know why it's pulling through, but it doesn't really matter. As long as you guys can kind of see, you get the point. I'm going to go back to 1 as well. Let's go back. Yep, cool. That's really nice. I'm coming really close. Yeah. Just head up nicer. Yeah. Cool. Now I'm just going to go back to capture again, so you guys can see what I'm seeing as well. Again, I'm kind of like I'm looking through my camera, and I'm kind of seeing what I want to see from the shot, and then I'm trusting that I'm getting my light right. Again, because I haven't mucked with it. There's a blue mark on the floor, which is kind of like X marks the spot, so it makes it a little easier. And then just coming back to the laptop, and then just going and seeing what's working, what's not, and just flicking through. I mean, for each kind of like look, I usually don't look to get too many shots. Like it's kind of like 1 or 2. It's not like for me, it's not a huge thing. Like you don't need like hundreds and hundreds of shots. It's just important to get a few that you really like. Yeah. Anyway, so I reckon let's pick your next look, and then we'll jump in with Kieran. But you said sit for a little longer. I'll just Nikki's look. Mic's still working. Yeah, cool. No, you're all good. that's the nature of it as well. It's like we're gonna wander in and out just whilst we grab stuff. Nikki's just brought a bag, same with Kieran, and that's kind of with a test shoot. That's often the case. I've got a list of clothes they should bring.
Evidence.
Evidence of bag. I think we've all got. Have you got a country road bag as well, Kieran?
No, mine's Iconic Sport.
Iconic Sport. Yeah, I've got a big green North Face duffel, and I often have a pink country road bag. Bright colours. It's harder to lose. I'm pretty forgetful. So I'm just going to quickly pick. What's the stripes? What are the stripes?
This is a top. It's like off the shoulder wrap top.
Oh, I love it. Let's do that. And what bottoms?
Otherwise, I have 2 shorts or these flared ripped jeans.
I quite like the faded blue with that. I think that'll work quite nice.
They're Kieran's.
Oh, they look like girls' jeans. Sorry, Kieran.
They are kind of tight.
I have my.
You can wear them if you need.
No, let's go back to the blue. Yeah, the blue jeans we started are great. They're good. So we'll do that. And we'll keep doing the black ones. Sorry, right there. Bit of playful banter, nothing wrong with that.
So much.
Yeah, so much.
I'm gonna borrow some hair clothes. Damn shorts would be nice.
Yeah, some cut-offs.
Show off a little bit of leg.
Yeah. I think that'll be a good look for you. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly. What I think I'll do as well is like, for this look, I might sit Kieran down. So I'm gonna get him to just grab the tool stool. Let's play a little around with that. See how it looks. I think we'll stay quite tight. And what we'll do is get a little closer to the light here, just to make it a little striking. So we're gonna blind him a little. Just bring this a little closer. All I'm doing here is just narrowing the amount of light coming through. I'm going to quickly switch lenses as well because I think that will make a bit of difference. Actually, no, I'm going to not bother for this first one. Kieran's a good-looking dude. We can make some angles with this. Let's see how we go. And I'm just going to make sure those other mics are plugged into charge, just in case we need them shortly. I've only plugged one in apparently. And so the battery doesn't die. I'm going to change that now because it's red. Right. Things you should probably do before that I didn't get to today. Alright, so now I put my meter down here. I'm just going to turn, because we have moves, and I'm going to take a quick reading. This just gives me an indication of where things are. It's a really useful tool. I do find my camera screen is going to give me a different reading. My computer screen is going to give me a different reading. If it's a bright environment, I find it sometimes doesn't look like quite right, like it looks overexposed, and often you're under or you're over. So this just going to make my life a little easier. So we're going to just I've pressed the button already.
You've already pressed it?
Yep.
No.
Boom. 5.6 it's saying. So I might even bring you a little closer. So that should bring this. It's like 5.6, right? Just the one there on the right. Yeah, mine right as well. 8. Yeah, that's kind of better. I mean, that's how light also works. If we move closer or further away, it's going to be brighter. All right. So let's see. I'm probably too bright there. Yep. So I haven't moved. We're at 5.6, so we need to bring that up to 8. It might not look too overexposed on your screens right now, but I definitely feel like you could use a stop. Again, it's like so screen dependent that sometimes I get it wrong. I think everyone gets it wrong. So meter is a very handy little tool, and I'm going to make sure I'm putting that there just so I don't misplace it. Okay, so F8 now, and yeah, boom, it's dead on now. It might look a little dark on your screen, again, it depends. On mine it looks really, really close. And the good thing is, because the light's closer and a little more intense, we have more of an angle we can kind of work with. If we move Kieran this way, it's going to be not too much, just a little bit, halfway. And that's the thing, like it's not their job to know where the light's going to fall. It's it's very much more straight on the face. So I quite like the half. We're going to get halfway with them, so come back just a little bit. Yeah. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I just brought Kieran back just a little bit, and we'll just so you can see in camera how he was standing. So that was this, where it's a little more off, and then just go back and just show them how little movement it is, because I want them to actually see how little we're actually moving. To get that same sort of, to get that different shot. It's such a small amount that we're moving, and it makes quite a bit of difference in terms of light. And that's the other thing. It's like often one of the tasks that you have to do as a photographer is be like, hey guys, just watch where you stand. The blue dot on the floor, that's often our best friend. Again, it depends what you're doing. If you're shooting with the sun, it's a little different, obviously, because the sun's so far away. Moving forward or back, you can't really move closer to it or further away from it, not by a significant distance. But with studio lights, it does make a huge amount. And I want a little bit of variation there, some with a little more mood, and that's what I'm going to do now. So I move a little closer. So I'm going to try, let's see what it's like if I cut the light this way. Draw a little more towards me. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I quite like that. I quite like the shading. It's just a little darker, a little more mood. We can. The thing I'll do now is like, let's be a little more intensity here. Yeah, blue steel. Yeah, I'll hold the laughter as well. The more people on set, the harder it often is to do that. I often say as well, if you're going to laugh it out, and then we'll get it, rather than trying to hold it in. It takes longer. The longer you try to hold it. That's good. Cool. I quite like a few of those. Now what we'll do is we're going to move the light a little further back now, and we'll just have a little more fun with it. Just because I think, actually, you know what? No, I reckon we'll pick something. Will we go more colourful for that, or? Alright, yeah, let's do it with this look. Let's try it with this one first. So we'll stand you up. We'll move further back.
Move the stool.
Yeah. Oh, it's alright.
It's always making noises.
Yeah. If you can make a few marks. So we're going to move the light a little further back, just because that will allow us to see. So you can just see what I am actually doing. I'm just move this a little further back. I'm just going to move this guy further back as well. Not too much, which means we'll have a little less power to use, but we'll make it work. And we're going to have a little more fun. We're going to make them a little better, a little bit more interesting. And I'm going to ask something really annoying. My throat's getting dry. Nick, because of COVID, better not share water. There's a tap in the kitchen and there's glasses in the cabinet. Do you mind grabbing one? Sure. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Nah, I'm alright. I got what I got.
Yeah, they were smart. I didn't think about that beforehand.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah. No, I mean there's bleach in here, but I don't think I should drink it.
No.
So what we're going to do again is just a quick meter reading. Yeah, family friendly. Okay, so guys, I'm just going to check you can all hear me still. It hasn't dropped. Light meter. So this is a Sekonic 858, so it's really expensive. These are like $1,400 now. They were $900 when I bought them. They've just had a price hike. The 308X is what I recommend. I like this guy because I shoot a lot outdoors, especially with my commercial clients. When I'm shooting natural light, I like my spot meter, so I've got this little eyepiece. So that's an important one. Thank you so much. I've got some water now in a nice big mug.
Most people watching you drink water in their whole life.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, I've got an audience for drinking water. And the shutter sounds really loud because that's a 1DX Mark I. It's an old camera, and she's done 1.2 million frames. Spends a lot of time over at Canon because she's quite beat up. Just so you guys can see, I don't believe in the use it till it dies. I've just had the rubbers on the back replaced, which has been really nice because they'd all fallen off. It's seen some cool things. This thing's done press photos with Coldplay, Kings of Leon. What else? It's shot campaigns for Tinder, NRMA, and lots of things. Yeah, it's loud. It is very, very loud. And I quite like the noise. I quite like loud shutters. I started on a medium format, and they're loud. This thing's quiet. Okay. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see Kieran. So I'm gonna switch screens so you guys can see what's going on. Yep, cool. Red green. Okay. Oh yeah, we didn't actually meet her after all that. We were explaining everything, and then we never got there. Let's click this little bulb out so it's not too. Turn it back on. 1, 2, 3. So I am going to. I'm going to take a guess. We've moved it back a bit, so I'm guessing we were at 5.6 before. So I can sit it there. But let's see. Press the button. I press the button. 5.6. Hey, I'm not too bad at getting my measurement. Yeah, it's only a stop. So it's I'm a genius.
Master of the craft.
Yeah. Cool. And I'm just.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. It's the first shot. So I'm almost thinking that almost does feel. Let's go bomb. And yeah, let's have a bit of fun with this one because we got the tropical. What do you reckon? Like, I'm thinking like a few, like, I want some like laughing, a bit flirty kind of thing. I think it's it's kind of a nice look. Yeah, we bring that kind of like you just won your personal trainer sort of vibe out, like. Like that's the other thing. Don't be afraid to have fun with it, guys. Like I think a lot of the time photographers like to take themselves too seriously, especially with guys. I think like one of the things to do is like some stuff like that. I was shooting this like quite. This guy had just come off doing some big campaigns, and he had so much energy. I think he'd done something stupid like Giorgio Armani, and we went down. We were in a park, and there were a bunch of other people just hanging out. And he's just like, firstly he does just take the shirt off and just go start playing with the basketball ring, and everyone's just looking at him like, this guy's ridiculous. What's wrong with him? But the photos were fun. It's like it's such a good thing to be able to have fun with, especially I'd say that's one of the differences with like guys and girls is like generally speaking like there's not as much. There's a lot more. The brooding is kind of a big thing, and it's often like one of the hard parts as well. It's like if you're looking at shots and you're looking at someone being like, hey, like they all look the same. Like one of the easiest ways is just to have fun with it. Like they both are. You're both being ridiculous.
I don't know what she's communicating. I was doing pliés.
But yeah, like that. Even that's kind of like we can kind of play. We're gonna get some bulge in the temple. But the other thing is we've got Photoshop. It's fine. Yeah, we can take a few years out if we need to. Cool. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Keep having fun with it. Just like we can move around a little bit. Yeah. And again, it depends on the mood. Like that's another big thing. Is like as they come in, it's like we're looking at like there's a few good ones there, and then, I mean obviously you're gonna get in between moments. I'm pushing the shutter pretty hard, and it's like one of those. It's one of those things. Like if you're pushing, you're gonna end up with like crap stuff. And I think it's better to just kind of shoot and just kind of keep rolling with it and building on it rather than like this isn't. It's not it's not working. I never go it's the model. It's you that's not figuring it out. Like you've got to find you're the one assembling the jigsaw puzzle. They're there to kind of help you fulfill things, not the other way around. You're there to make them look good, and they're not there to make you look good. And a lot of photographers pretend it's the other way around, and that can I think that's kind of a bit silly. It's like you've got to have
10 more life.
It's up to you to make it. Yeah, you've got to help people find their angle. You've got to if they're having a bad day, like often it's especially if they're not a model and you're working with just like a regular client, or there's someone who's uncomfortable in front of camera. you got to find what works for them. You got to give them some direction. And I mean, Kieran's been really good at like moving his shoulders and giving us some lines there. But you know, it's like it depends on the person. Like I'm gonna quit. I know they're a bit silly, but he's moving his shoulders. He's giving us like a lot of movement there, and I think that's great. Like it's like we're having a bit of fun with it. And you know, if we're doing that, it's a lot easier to kind of get different shots rather than just being like, oh crap, like let's do the same shot again and again. Try a different approach. Get them to move their jaw. And people have good side and bad sides as well. Yeah. Is this your good side?
Yeah, it's the side.
Yeah. It's also usually that's the case. It's the side people sweep their hair to. We'll take 2 more serious ones, and then we'll get Nikki back in front of the camera. Yep. I'm just gonna quickly. No, I'm good. I'm only halfway. Thank you though. I'm gonna just jacket though. I think the aircon's turned off, so I think that might help me. I don't want to end up too sweaty, like the photographer on camera whose shirt's going to see
Luckily
through.
you're wearing white.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, makes the photo shoot risky.
Yeah.
You like to take your photos quick.
Yeah. Everyone loves sweat stains. Come
You
on.
have about 4 minutes.
We'll turn the heat on and see what happens. Alright, so we're gonna. That's a little. My autofocus doesn't look too good there, so but we're at 5.6. I think it's because I'm being lazy and keeping it in silly mode for this camera. When I have my macro on, I often use the most basic autofocus mode, and it's terrible for everything else because it just doesn't find focus. Anyway, let's go. Well, I can just jump a little closer. We're gonna guess. We're gonna go. So if we jump closer, let's go 7 and just see if that's more intense. Yeah, so 7's kind of close. I feel like 8 might be a little better, just so you guys can see. I'm just looking at it going, I think it might be a little too bright still. So we're going to go to 8 and just see if that's a little better. Yeah, I think 8's just going to give us more skin tone. And I mean, sometimes it's not it feels like, oh god, like it could be it's nicer when it's blown out because there's less detail. But I'd rather edit than not have any detail to start with, or be pulling down in post. I reckon tilt your head quite a bit too. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, keep it up. Yeah. Often I have a stool because I'm not the tallest person. I literally have one in my car. I'm just having a quick look. Do I like those? I reckon one with hand in as well, I reckon almost, yeah. I'm just watching that background line because I'm just starting, as you probably can see guys, I just am at the top there on a few of those because I'm not high enough. I'm getting just that background in a bit. But that's alright. Oh, my laptop is saying it's dying. I just need to, I've got 12%, so I'll plug that in a second. But I've got 12, so we'll get this last shot. Yeah, we'll let the charger. I like that. Cool. A little more squinty, just a little bit. Like, yeah. You're annoyed at me. Yeah, I've called you fat again. Sorry, I made him laugh. That's the wrong reaction I want. Yeah. I think that's the other thing. It does depend on the person. Like sometimes that stuff, like throwing stuff at people and tossing to them whilst you're taking photos and they can't react, or they can only react, often gets great shots. Just come this way just a little bit, just so I can. Just get a little bit less light. Yeah, cool. Just back forward, that's it. Cool. Yeah, I think I got something that I like there. So, and that's so we'll swap. Yeah, that one. Yeah, blue steel. Yeah. I'll get you to sit down and relax for a minute, and then I will pick your next look. Nick, we'll get you to jump in. I'm just going to grab my charger. Oh. I went for a walk yesterday and my legs are sore. I'm unfit. I am all this sitting indoors is not serving very well. I'm just going to check you guys don't have any questions right now, so I'm not just talking to myself because that's always awkward. Video stop, still frozen. Says it's an excellent connection. Alright. Okay, so what's happened there? Sorry guys. I'm going to switch neck connections, and that will probably fix it, guys. I'm just going to switch to just switch your Wi-Fi and go to hotspot. It just might be a little bit more stable. My panel's been frozen a little while. Sorry, guys. I'm just seeing if I can fix that now. Saying excellent condition.
I thought you did this, so I was like, it's in the back, so I'll join in. That's your picture.
That's like I get to keep following you.
Yeah. It's fun.
It was.
Sounds.
It's like I'm gonna stop sometime. Like, what should I even do?
Come on. Let's see. We're trying. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2.
That did all arms, no legs.
Got sound but no video. Okay, that's odd. Because the video here is pulling through fine. It's... I see. It's OBS that's being the issue. Okay. Okay, here we go. We will...
It's definitely pretty.
Yeah. Okay, come on. Reopen. Saying live.
Come on, children.
Come on, you can do it. Your capture device.
What do you do when you're not working?
I'm a travel writer, so I work for a travel magazine. Don't get to travel that much though.
Oh, what?
Yeah, no.
What?
It's like, I don't, because you can write about it from home. So,
What's
that's
the
life.
documentary and now write about it?
It's like every time I say what I do, I'm like, oh, but it's not that good. Because everyone's like, oh, awesome, do you travel all the time? And then if I'm like,
Okay, alright. Okay. Guys, just let me know if that worked. I am so sorry for that. It's our first time kind of doing this. Obviously, there's a few teething issues. I am apparently sorry for that. It's, yeah, OBS is, as I'm discovering, I wish it was a little less laggy. For some reason, it froze there. Can you guys let me know where we were? And I will. I mean, I feel like I was just kind of taking photos of Kieran. And we'll go in. And so I was getting quite close and moving around with him. Again, we're just using the softbox, and I'm just kind of giving him kind of a bit of direction to kind of move with there. I'll keep a better eye on this so we don't have that issue again. Yeah, again, apologies. It's obviously, for whatever reason, OBS decided to just freeze completely. Physical controller seems to work fine, but yeah, software issue, technical difficulties. Okay, so we're going to move on with Nikki now. We're just going to keep the ball rolling because I feel like that's probably more useful for you guys rather than me stopping and starting. We can I'm going to keep a closer eye on this. Let's go back into capture. What I might do is I'm going to minimize this window just a little bit so I can see you guys at the same time, so you can see your comments. That'll hopefully help us not make that same mistake again, or me make that same mistake again, I should say. All right. Okay, so we picked like an off-the-shoulder top here with Nick. Like a nice simple look. I think with this as well, we'll probably have a bunch of fun with the hair. It's a little dark on her, I think, so we're going to just grab the light meter and just check our meter readings. All right. Right, just hold that. What's it say? Sorry. And
this side.
no. 5.6 at 5, and our readings were 7.1. Cool, that's why. I mean, we did have Kieran a lot closer, so right up. Okay, so 5.6. I'm not going to put it on the ground, I'll kick it. Nothing. Try not to leave anything on the ground. That's one of my tips right now. Cool. Okay, cool. How's that for lighting? Yeah, as you can see, it's a lot brighter. I think the direction's a little too intense still for this shot. So again, I'm just going to move this back a little bit so we have a little bit more. Cool. And then turn it up just slightly. Again, I'm just balancing my settings so I'm not having to move around too much. The further away the light is, the more distance it has to travel, the more even it's going to be when it hits her. Cool. All right. Yeah, so that's quite even. I just want to check my meter again, just so I am 100% on point. It just feels like it might be a little too bright, so I'll just press the button just a little better. 5.6 at 4. So okay, it's saying it's dead on. Again, my eyes deceiving me there. I'm just playing it safe, so I'm not just worried about oh yeah, shutter speed right now is just 1/60 of a second. It's because the lighting's. I'll take the remote off just so you can see. You can see it's the light's doing all the heavy lifting, as you can see. So I'm not too worried about my shutter speed. 60th might be a little too slow. You can set it at 125 if you want, which is safe. As long as as long as it's kind of the flash is doing all the work, I'm not particularly concerned. All right. Yeah, sweet. There we go. Let's do it. Yeah. Just getting a bit of movement. The hair's nice. Often what I do as well is you'd have someone with actually we've got Kieran. We've got our fan. We've got a fan.
Fan boy.
We're gonna make a fan.
Go Nikki! Oh.
You're a fan.
Yeah.
I just gotta grab something. Yeah. Just quickly. Yeah. Do we have some thicker board? We're just gonna do that because that's often. Yep. Awesome.
We tried. I tried.
It might be a little hard to film yourself while you do this, but let's see. Just a little bit, just like this. So just a little bit. So this is something often we've got Kieran as our fan, just so we get a little bit of movement in the hair. Oh, we've got the option. He was joking about being an assistant today, so now we've made him one. Yeah, just a little bit, not too much. Just see, it's just like that little wisp that I'm looking at. That's kind of fun. Just gives a bit of movement in a shot. The flash is being a little slow. That's kind of cool. I like, and this is the thing, we can't control what it's going to do, so we're just gonna let it do its thing, just so you guys can see as well. You can see it's just kind of like giving a bit of movement there, which is kind of fun. So that's what I'm going to do for a bit. So let's get a bit of movement. Yeah, that's it. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. Cool. Nope. Flash. A little slow.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. Capture can give me the histogram. I tend not to pay much attention to my histograms. It's just sitting in the back there. I spend most of my time in Capture just on in the ratings in the Capture tab, just adjusting folders. I generally do all my edits in Photoshop, so I don't worry too much about that. You're struggling a bit there, Kieran. Yeah. All right. I think we've got a few good shots. I'll let you put that down. Thank you, Kieran, for being an assistant.
This is just a mess.
Yeah, my evil laugh. I'm just going to adjust this camera.
Oh, that's a cheesy one.
Cute.
Yeah.
Cute ass.
Yeah. And that's kind of fun as well. Like we got a reaction there. Like I was saying, they're often kind of fun when you get. It's often other people on set that people are bouncing off. It's not necessarily just you. I find a lot of photographers end up being almost stand-up comedians in the sense that make the people on set laugh, especially on the commercial side. If you're doing a campaign for like Woolworths, or let's say it's a family-friendly brand, or kids, for example, if you're doing Pumpkin Patch, you want them to look joyous. You want them to look like they're having fun. You don't want them to look like they're sick of being in front of camera, for example, or sad, or static. So it's really one of the great ways of fixing that is to actually throw jokes, talk to them, find something that they find funny, or get them to talk something about themselves, or tell an embarrassing story. Sometimes those embarrassing stories are so good, you end up laughing for 5-10 minutes. Definitely happened a few times, which is always good. And that 10 minutes can be the entire shoot. That can be that could be your header image for the campaign. Yeah, exactly. Got Kieran here making fun of himself. Okay, so where the red one? The red one is the one that's on, so it's that one.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. So what we'll do now is we'll do, because they are playing quite often, they're off each other. We'll get a look that where we put them together, so that we can do that. Yeah. So I was thinking. I quite if we Nikki, would you have something that would go with one of the, if we put it together?
I have a linen shirt as well.
I feel like we put you both in linen there, it might be a little, yeah.
Okay.
So that's yours or not?
Yeah.
It's yours this time?
And those are my little shorts.
Yeah, those are your little shorts, yeah.
I slipped them into her bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my linen, that's red, that's a little crop top.
Yeah. What's that stripy thing? Is that you're in your hand?
This is a blazer.
Okay. Maybe the just because we're on the white backdrop, I'm thinking that's is that a one?
It's a playsuit. It's a leotard.
Yeah, put leotard jeans, and what I'll do is I'll get you in the blue.
Jeans.
I reckon those jeans, because it'll be nice and colourful,
Cool.
and I'm going to put you in that, and the same the other jeans. Yep, the ones that I thought we needed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
If you guys have any questions right now, then now's a good time to ask, because I've sent them both off to get changed. There's another change room on the other side, Kieran. Yeah, so they're not going in the same one. Yeah, and apologies again for that, guys. This is our first one doing this. I am solo. We're trying to keep contact to a minimum. Probably next time we may have someone on the controls, just so more than one person is here doing that. At the moment, I am kind of, just so you can see, staring at a desk of wires, which is really useful. It's giving me everything. I can see myself and everything, but obviously it's not the easiest way of doing it. Solo. The other, I think, whilst they're getting changed, the other thing as well is compatibility with this stuff can often be really important. You need to find ways to common ground with your talent a lot of the time. Or ways to kind of connect. I think it's really important. It's kind of like a job interview almost, in the sense that you've got to very quickly develop rapport. You've got to figure out what works for them. In a job interview, one of the first things you have to do is go, oh, I love this part of the role. I love this part about your company. It's the kind of thing, same as models. You want to be able to go, I like. I'm going to get this in the middle just so it's a little more. And I'm going to switch back to this one as well, so I can. You want them to. You want them to feel connected to you, and for a reason to be there, and just comfortable and wanting to do the work. And the easiest way to do that is to kind of is to talk to them and understand what they're looking for and what they like. And again, that also comes back to the brief. If you find yourself stuck, often what I do is I keep coming back to the brief. I keep looking at it. Looking at the timeline, looking at what's going on, making sure that that we're getting shots that we spoke about beforehand, rather than just kind of shoot, and then afterwards going, I don't like any of these. The big thing is you don't need to have inspiration all the time to keep shooting, but if you're not feeling inspired, it's really, really important to make sure that you have shots that you're ready to create. That also comes back to lighting. We're not focusing too much on lighting today, but lighting can be a huge part of that. Knowing what the weather's doing, like if it's a important brief, for example, or it's a shoot you want to do outside, making sure you know what the weather's doing like 3 days out. And yeah, I think this will be kind of fun. You getting them to play off each other. They're now back. We'll see how it looks in camera. Yeah. Where you get a paper rock for it.
Okay.
So just moving the light back and putting it on a little bit more of an angle, just so you can see.
I feel like to make it fair, we should swap.
Halfway.
So bad side equals my good
No,
side.
that's not
You're gonna make me look ugly.
So the lights, I just moved it so it's a little more across, and they're just bantering.
It's an aggressive game, modeling.
Got-
You have to get ahead of each other.
Oh,
Make her the only
No, my nose is actually crooked on this side.
No one's face is symmetrical, guys. Like that's the thing. Yeah.
I've been described to have a very perfect nose from a lady.
From one person.
It was a really odd compliment, and she really stuck with it for a long time. I was like, I like your accent. She was English.
It's not your. You're not talking about your grandma or something.
No, it was a random girl.
Well, I'm just gonna move the black back as well, because otherwise I'm gonna end up with a little shot.
Kind of random.
Yeah.
It was a really odd compliment. She went on for like 20 minutes. Yeah. Like I tried to move on, and I'm just like, thanks. She's like, no, like your nose. It's like small, but it's like perfect. It's like the most perfect nose I've ever seen. I'm like, yeah.
So I'm just adjusting the lights, guys.
But she's English. I like the nose.
I'm losing controls.
I like your accent.
I like your nose.
Yeah. Your schnoz.
Alright, so the light's quite even. Yeah, it is very like. What brand do you reckon that would be for, guys? Like Kmart or like.
She said Colgate.
Colgate.
Smiles.
Yeah. Well, we'll put it on some stock websites so you
No,
guys.
it's best and worst.
Alright, let's talk
Oh gosh, yeah, my face is getting sore from this. Okay, I think we're just going to do a little bit more light, just make sure. Again, we're only using one, we're on quite a deep angle right now, so I might lift it a little higher so it's a little more on them. We call this feathering, so I'm going to, you guys hold it. You can pretend to hold one, Kieran, there.
Product that we're selling.
Yeah. Light meters today, apparently.
It used to be 900, now it's 1400.
I'll put that down to 4.5. So I'm saying 5.6. I just. Okay, so we've got a stop in there. Yeah, just a quick silly test image. Always a bit of fun.
We should have.
Just being a little more pedantic than I planned to be today, guys. I'm always pretty pedantic with where I place my lights, so you'll have to excuse me. I'm gonna guess we're gonna go back to 5.6 apparently. Cool.
More serious.
Yeah, that is a little more serious. It's kind of fun though. Like we didn't really plan in the brief to kind of do like these sorts of shots where we're doing two people, but they're playing off each other way too well in the background, and I'm gonna get distracted otherwise. So I thought, put them together, and that's it. Yeah. If they're there, we can see them and we know what they're doing. And I'm just gonna So I'm gonna switch to this. So I'm in the corner, and you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm gonna make sure I don't get too far into that shot. Yep.
Good. Good.
Alright, so yeah, let's play off each other a bit. Okay. Just so you guys can see. As you can see, they're playing off each other quite nicely.
Oh my god.
But I think the other thing is I'm not giving them too much here, like in terms of what to actually do, and that's not going to help them. Like then they're like it feels like they're standing next to each other quite awkwardly, and I'm like, they need to look a little more buddy because it is quite a yeah, exactly. Like, or even just kind of like, well, I'd say Nikki, put your hand on like your no, I wouldn't even say that. I was going to say like you're actually leaning on him. Yeah, exactly. And that way, as you can see from this angle, guys, you can see it's like it feels like they're very like they're just hanging out a bit more, and that's the thing as well. Like you really need to look at is look at what's going on, like how it's kind of they're playing off each other and how it's working, because otherwise it just gets a bit confusing. All right. And P.S. These guys have never met each other either, so this is pretty. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. They both laugh. You're gonna take laughing. I don't know. I feel like the other thing you can always do here as well is like if depending on what you're trying to create, you've got a lot of options in terms of like going and putting. Yeah. No, they're looking a bit silly, but that's to be expected right now. There should be a good. I think there's a good. Like that one's quite fun. They're laughing a little too much here. When people laugh too much, it's generally speaking, it's not photogenic. That's the case of it. Yeah, I'm encouraging it. What can I say?
I was reading.
Yeah.
She was
All right. So we'll shoot a few more. Yeah, that's cool. I'd say just because of the shape between it looks like there's too much of a gap between you guys. Just so you can see, it's like you don't want. Yeah, you could fit. I could sit in that gap.
Body shape.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That was a little nicer, just with your hand a little further. Yeah, or even just, yeah. If it's too in the pocket, it just feels a little awkward there. Just so you guys can see, I'm just looking. That's the hardest part, is looking out at those details, like where the hands sit and stuff like that. I always find for men, it's one of the hardest things is to figure out what on earth to get them to do with their hands sometimes, especially if I'm doing headshots. It's like, often I'll give them a pen and paper. Obviously I don't think in this scenario it's going to look good. You'll see on some shoots, photographers will, if there's like an in-situ shot, they'll give them their camera. Props can be really handy. I mean, one of the things you could do with Kieran, for example, is if Nikki was just standing off him there, and I'm just going to, like, I'll pull this, is just get him to hold, like, he's got these glasses here and he could be holding them, for example. It just gives him something to do, and she can kind of slink in place. So you've got lots of options. I'm not going to do that shot there, but I just want to highlight like that often you need to get them to do something so it's not too static. Otherwise it often feels a bit contrived. Again, two people is really, really hard a lot of the time as well. It's not necessarily the easiest one. All right. My turn. Yep, I'm doing a shot. Am I? Let's go. Yep, let's straighten up. I think that's going to be nicer. Yeah, just so you guys can see. Yeah, the screen feels a little silly in the sense that it feels very green on my monitor here, but it looks color balanced on mine, so I don't know why. Hopefully it's not too off for you guys. Just FYI. I'm just going to keep shooting a few like this because it's kind of cool. The other thing I often do is put music on, but again, just for the sake of YouTube, we're not going to do that. Boom, boom. Yeah, I reckon a little bit more straight, Nikki. So you're taking up the same sort of space and frame as Kieran is. That's what Kieran, just looking a little more at me. Yeah, and I'd say I'd say a little bit more straight on, just because that knee's a little bent. It just looks like one leg's very small compared to the other.
That does, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the thing you got to look like. I'm looking in camera, and then I'm coming back here, and then I'm going. We've got it. Just looks a little. Yeah, looks a little small. So you come and you look, you see what's working, and then you change other elements. It's guess and check, and the more you do it, the quicker you notice it, and the easier it is.
I look forward to this.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I know we're being a little too silly. Yeah, that's good. Just again, Kieran. I'd say let's try it. Let's just try it blind. Yeah. No, not quite. Yeah. Just this is so. Let's just get. I think it's the jeans, the cut on the jeans as well for this shot, like because there's the two of them, and the shirt. I'd say pull them up just a little bit. Yep. Yeah. That feels like it's a little better. Yeah. Cool. Just so you guys can see. There she comes. I'm getting closer and I'm shooting wide just to kind of mix it up a bit. I think that's cool. Oh yeah, you two my silly views. I have to separate you two. It's like school, preschool again. We have to separate the kids. laugh it out. Like, yeah, it's laughing. I'm looking and going, yeah.
What are you laughing at?
It's contagious.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just start laughing. Okay, stop. Make the joker. Have a condition. Have you not seen
Yeah. That's really terrible.
I'm just checking my screen, guys. It's still saying.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's saying it's appearing a little dark. Because in mine it looks pretty good, but we'll keep going. Yeah, that's cool. Cool. I reckon we got a good shot there. We're gonna brighten it up and play in post. Yeah. I like. Yeah. Cool. Just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There's like some nice ones out there. So we'll move on. We'll do like one more look with each of them. So I'm not keeping you all too late and too long. Watch works.
It's ticking.
Okay. Okay. So let's pick. We'll go. Kieran, let's pick you first. And the last one we'll really focus on like shape here because it's one of the hardest things to kind of explain. Because one of the things as well is like how we stand obviously really affects. And the great thing with like Kieran being a personal trainer and like he's aware of like muscle groups and stuff like that. And it's often really hard to explain to people like what well, where to flex from your stomach, for example. Like I stand quite flat, but if you the difference it makes to kind of like bring your body up, and often explaining that to someone is really hard, especially. And for me, one of the things I say is like, what do you say if you want to get someone with better posture? Because the thing I always say is like almost like something's invisible pulling up. Yeah.
Oh no, that's just usually facing forward.
Yeah,
it's like you're trying to shoot a beam of light out of your chest forwards, like directly straight.
Yeah.
So that will bring your shoulders back and your chest up.
Yeah. And for guys, it can be a big one because obviously it's like if you relax, if you slump, it makes a big difference in posture. And I'm just going to zoom in on Kieran from the back one here. So it's going to be this. Which camera are we looking at? We're going to switch to the one at the back. Yeah. We're going to zoom in. So just so we can see on Kieran. So now slouch. You could chill for a bit, Nikki, because you're stand. Just slouched. Yep, slouched. Then yeah, like the difference posture makes is huge. If we zoom out as well, you'll see the other thing. It's not just your chest that's kind of there. It's also the stomach. You're pulling your stomach up. There's quite a few very well-known fashion photographers who, if you look at a lot of their shots, it's the fact that it's almost like they're elongating their stomach and at the same time bringing in their back. It's one of the hardest things to kind of practice because you need to be fairly aware of your own body, and I'm definitely not the fittest person here, but as you can see on Kieran, it just makes such a huge difference. And I want to highlight that with him. With girls, one of the things that you often look at is it's often hips, like you're trying to twist and at the same time like create shape. Same with guys, but I'd say the other thing is like if we get Kieran doing the same sort of thing, it often looks quite feminine, and I think whilst not necessarily a bad thing, it really depends on what you're kind of aiming for. And so I think that's really, really important. And for me, like understanding posture is such a huge one, and it's something that I'm still like getting my head around. Anyway, let's pick your look, Kieran. If you wanna, you can pose now for our friends here if you'd like.
I'm red screen.
Yeah. Yes, you are. Which is probably dreadful leaving you doing that. Okay,
No, I get stage fright. I have too much freedom. It's only those quick moments that I'm like, ooh, where can I be cheeky? But now it's like you have too much time. Stand up improv.
I think I quite like black and black and black. So maybe black.
As a guy, I do not want open hands. It's weird. You don't want long hands either. You want like close. You want fists. It's more masculine.
Yeah, I
All right.
You can.
They might hear me a little bit.
Yeah, probably do. Okay, I'm going to turn this back on for a bit because we'll talk. We'll actually talk whilst Nikki gets changed. Sorry guys for the beep. Yeah, apologies for that noise. Okay, 1 2 1 2. Okay, now this microphone's working. So yeah, I think like let's go back to this screen so we can stare at ourselves on this one. Like posture for me is like one of the key ones. And what I'll do when we come back with Kieran is we'll do a look where we kind of focus a lot on that. We're going to do that with Nick first, who's great as well, and I think that's a key one. Yeah, sorry, getting in that camera. Yeah, the perfect nose. Just getting them to stand in a way that's kind of like works for them. And everyone's different. Like some people are going to have longer necks than others. Some people are going to look better. Like if their chin's a little further down. The other thing I would say is don't bring your chin down. You bring it out almost like out. Yeah. When people do a chin down, it often goes down like this, and then it's like, yeah, we'll both do it. Chin down. It's like, yeah, it's not a good. Yeah, it's not necessarily the nicest look. Whereas if I do like, it's like out, chin out. Yeah, like a turtle. That's actually a good way of saying it.
Am I curly enough for the turtle club?
Oh god. Yeah. And that to me is like a big key thing, is like getting that right. And it's not an easy one. So the other
side profile.
I
know, it just looks good.
Yeah. The other thing to do as well is like, so where you place the shoulders as well is going to make a big difference, because it's then where the face goes. Obviously, because I've got a beard, there's a lot more going on.
I was like, where are the shorts? And then I saw the shorts.
Yeah, that's what I don't know with the jacket. I think the jacket might be a bit too much. What's the wipes? Is that a linen top?
This one?
Yeah. What's that?
Linen top.
Making sure
Linen shirt.
whatever's closest to the camera is going to appear largest. So huge chest, small waist.
Yeah. I don't know if you want a small waist.
You kind of do. You want to get nice and triangle. Like you're looking for triangles really in photography.
Sometimes. I mean, for me, one of the things is I'm looking for how you create shape. Like I'm looking for I often want legs to take up a bit more room.
Sometimes you go like power, but you also have that twist.
Yeah. Bingo.
Power stinks.
Yeah. I'm just picking.
You want to go like wide,
But
then you get a little bit of an angle. It's
It's
gonna be a little bit. Still get the twist.
Or there's a light tee.
Nice good
I
posture,
actually
you know.
like that. I think that's
You're looking for.
just switching up still.
Try.
What I might do as well, let's pick Kieran's clothes as well, just so as we can, because we've got the ability to.
Sounds good.
Alright, so I'll get you to bring your stuff out so we're not off camera. That will make a mess in the middle here. It's always fun.
Lots and lots and lots.
Kieran, you haven't had any formal training so much, have you?
No, not really. But I was part of a guy's final portfolio presentation for Billy Blue College of Design. So we went through like 5 to 6 intensive shoots, which kind of was my main coaching for that studio style type stuff.
I think the other thing as well is like there's plenty of casting videos that are around, and I think that's another big one that I look for. Nikki's been doing this for so long. I think she might have had some training early on, but I think one of the ways that I find a lot of people understand what to do is like models generally go to lots of castings, and like they'll often have their photo taken there. They get familiar. They watch other models. Like that's usually the way that most models learn, is they're watching other models. I generally watch models as well, in the sense that I'll be as an assistant. I watch them on shoots, etc. And the other thing as well is, as I've shot more, I've kind of gotten a better idea of what I'm looking for. Every person's different. The other thing as well for me is like if I'm shooting someone who's not a model, I'm trying to figure out how to bring some personality to them, what's going to make them relax and what's going to make them comfortable. And that's a hard one. Every person's different. All right, let's pick your look. We still haven't done that. Go grey.
Green, blue.
You didn't bring any shorts, did you?
No.
No, that's all right. I didn't put any shorts in the brief. No. Generally speaking, guys don't. I'm thinking. I think that's quite fitted.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's do the fitted shirt and black jeans, because what we'll do is then we can talk more about posing, much like we're about to with Nick.
And remember, we said 4 minutes with the grey shirt.
Yeah.
No arms above the head.
Yeah.
Literally, if there's a shoot and I'm wearing grey, I'm going to be shirtless until we're ready to take a photo.
Jonathan, I tend to, it depends on the model. It honestly depends. Like I generally, with my shoots, it depends on the brief that I've put together. Different briefs. If someone's a dancer, for example, I'm often more fluid with how we kind of do movement. And then the other thing as well is I'm
off. Look alike.
Yeah. Both practice.
I keep grabbing it. I'm like, oh shit.
I often look for like what's going to work for each person. I think the biggest thing is it's finding what's working for someone. For example, I'd say, would you say the swim is a lot more dynamic than it is in the studio? What do you find for like different shoots? Do you find that it makes a difference on what sort of shoot you are in terms of how fluid they are?
Well, swim, you have to move, because it's like a lifestyle. You're selling the lifestyle of the beach, and so and it's so much more fun if you move too. And then you get the best shots. I feel like are movement shots, because you're in the moment, or your hair catches the light a certain way. Like the more you move, and then Oliver will be like, "Oh, that light's beautiful," and then hold it. So I'll hold it, and then you'll go and like work on your angles or something.
So it is a bit of a partnership as well. It depends on the shoot. Like I think it's like if it's a fashion editorial, for example, often it's very, very controlled. I started as an assistant doing really stuff that I found really boring. I honestly never thought I'd be standing here saying, "Hey, look, let's talk about photography," because I started assisting on things for like alcohol brands and lifestyle, and I was stuck in McDonald's. My hands were stuck in McDonald's ads as a kid. My dad ran a studio, and like they were very controlled. I didn't like that aspect of photography at all. I was a music photographer for 5 years, hence I've worked with a lot of musicians, met a lot of amazing artists through that, and that's so fluid. There's no posing or anything, so it just depends on the environment. It also depends on the person. Like new people, generally speaking, they need a lot of help, and that's something I sometimes really enjoy. Sometimes I really want to get out and shoot. I've shot a lot of beach stuff the last since January. I got myself a car, so I was like, yes, okay, I'm going to get up at sunrise. And for me, that's like a time where everything's really fluid. You only really have 2 or 3 hours in the morning to kind of get those photos from sunrise till probably about 2 hours past. And so you really have to, it's very fluid. You can't just stand around and wait because you miss the moment, or then you only end up with 2 shots. So it just depends. And often the brief really will dictate that. So if I've got a brief where it's like there's a lot more references, for example, we only have 2 hours, it's going to be a lot more fluid. Or if I have 2 assistants and the lighting is very fluid, like just quickly pull up an example shot here. What's the name of Matilda? Yes, slowly appearing. Sorry, just finding a PSD if I haven't removed it from my computer. I have, in fact. Okay. I'll just quickly pull it. I'll have it somewhere. I did a backup today, guys, so there's not as many images on my computer as there was. So this is a completely unedited image, but I've got 4 torches, and I'm literally just I've got the camera on a tripod, and I'm just dangling them around. Like I've got color gels and all that sort of stuff flying around. And yeah, it's just going to really depend. Otherwise, it doesn't necessarily work. The other thing as well is like a look like this, we can do a lot with, because it's quite simple. We can do a lot of movement. It's quite form fitted as well. If something's quite restrictive, or it's like a suit, for example, often it's quite, it's only going to work on certain angles. So that's the long and short of it. I am going to put this down and hope it doesn't make too much noise, and shoot a few. And maybe switch back to the lapel. Actually, I'm not going to switch back to the lapel so I don't kill you with sound. I'll just talk louder. Hopefully that works. So let's now get back to capture. Yeah, light's pretty good. We're going to use a lot of movement here because we can. Like, we can create a lot of shape really, really, really easily. As you can see, because as I said, it's quite a form-fitted look. It works quite nicely, and it's like a look where you kind of like play around. Again, we could do the hair thing where we get Kieran to be the fan, but I think with this one, and we're pretty good. What I might do instead, though, is like give him some polyboard, and we'll just kind of play around with the light. Again, just to be more dynamic. We'll switch. So we're just going to get a bit of gold, and I'm just going to flick around. You're going to see this in a sec, guys, but I'm holding. I know I'm hiding. So just, show them on the screen. Yep, you can see it's a gold board. And then what this does is it's just going to give us some reflective glow. This is my cheapest and one of my favorite lighting modifiers. It's $10 from Officeworks, and lots of clamps. Get it quick. I'll make you one for a price. But yeah, we're just going to use that really quickly because it's a nice. What we should get is some glow coming back in a few shots if we find the right angle. But to do that, what we're going to do is we're actually going to use the model light for a second, just so we can see where the light's falling. Fortunately, this guy has model light, and because we're now portrait, we're going to switch to portrait mode. It gets a little bit more direct.
Faint sunshine.
Oh, right. Cool. Boom. Okay. So let's see where that's falling. Okay. So just hold. I'm gonna see. Yeah. See, now we're seeing where it is. See that gold there? So just feathering just means a little bit of movement. Just see what happens. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, we're not at a loss. Like we'll just say that didn't work. But I like trying this. I like my gold. Yeah. So it's definitely warming up the side of the shot there and just making it a little more dynamic. That's kind of fun. Yeah, that's cool, Nick. So as you can see, Nick's really good at movement, and so I'm not having to give her too much, and that makes my life a lot easier. For you guys, though, it's like if let's slow it down a bit just so I can give a bit more direction. Like we were saying, so that's really dynamic, and that's what when Jonathan was asking like what's dynamic, like with dynamic shooting, that's a lot of movement. I'm not having to throw too much at them, and that can be that as I said, that can be great in like yes, boom, boom, boom. But what we'll do is we'll slow it down. We'll make the movement a little more stiff, just so we can give a bit more. Alright.
But also cool.
I reckon that's great. Just keep that like that, but also flex a bit more. So bring your shoulders up. Yeah, that's cool. But facing you a little bit more. Come back. Yeah, that's cool. A little bit more side. Yep, that's good. Yeah, just play around with that area there. That's cool. So as you can see, just so you can see, guys, what I was kind of doing, like we kept it a lot more restrictive there. We were kind of like working with that same angle, and that's the thing. You can ask someone to slow down. Like dynamic is often great, but if sometimes you want someone to slow down, just ask, or like you've got to get comfortable in figuring out what you want and asking that. Yeah, you can kind of see we did a lot. You can see the gold there as well coming across on the side of the screen. Yeah. Alright.
It's been too long.
There we go. I'm going to come back a little further so you guys
That's
can...
everything.
Over there.
Like dance and sing, I should be getting serious in the pose. That's my issue.
We'll come back a bit.
Get serious with it. All you do is run 100 Ks. Capable of so much more.
Alright. Yeah, cool. So you guys can see, I'm going to switch between the two. And he's making a laugh, which is kind of fun as well. Just the fun laugh, not the one where you lose control. Yeah.
Has anyone ever told you a really ugly laugh?
Ugly laugh. Everyone's an ugly laugh, but you are too.
Whoa! Have you not seen my nose? Everything about me is perfect.
See, that's an ugly laugh.
Oh, wait, yours or mine?
So what I might do there as well is like I think I want a bit more shape in the shot. So what I'm gonna do is just to cheat. So in the middle of this guy, I've got more colors. So I'm just gonna quickly switch to that. So we're just gonna pull out the black one because the black one allows us to kind of like swap it up. Oh, is there a black piece of card already around? No. I could use my jacket, but no. I've done that before, but we'll pull the black card out. Ole, no. We've got
Get us through that. It has to happen.
I'm doing
It's so funny, just
bulldog clips off. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in here is got gold, silver, and black. So different colors do different things. So you can see gold's going to warm up the light, silver's going to reflect it more, and this black, so this is our reflective black, and this is matte. So matte is what we want because we want it to absorb as much light as we can. Black like your heart, Kieran.
perfect black heart at least. Wow, no laugh. That was.
Yeah, that's
I was
good.
in a mood.
Yeah. Cool. So with the black, all we're doing is absorbing more light, so we're getting a bit more shape across the body. And yeah, just a little out, Kieran, because he's going to get you in the shot otherwise. Like a little bit more straight on. Yep. The one thing I noticed with Nick in these shots as well is like she's really good at moving her waist side to side, which creates a lot of curve and a lot of shape. And that's often something that's really hard to explain to someone to do. it's because it's not just if we are to look, you can see here as well. It's like she's actually moving her waist quite a bit. Like it's not just a sin. It's not just like a side flip. Yeah. Kieran, if you want to do this with us, we're literally. So you can. Yeah. So you can see it's almost like a dance move, but it's like it's changing the entire weight of the body. It's not just like a. It's not just like it's you're literally putting the weight on the other leg. So what you're doing is you're pushing your hip completely. So the big thing is it means that you're able to kind of like twist your body quite a bit and create a lot of shape without having to do too much. And that's something really hard to explain to someone who's new to this. But it's a great quick trick. Once you kind of get the hang of, you can kind of like do a lot of looks and a lot of like movement around there without having to work too hard. You're not having to like twist all the way back and forth and round and look over their shoulder or whatnot. It's like they're able to just kind of go. It's as you can see, it's quite easy and quite a easy. It's a quick technique to get yourself to get a lot of shots. If you're working with someone where you're trying to kind of create something dynamic and move around, it's a good quick way to get that. Anyway, let's get a few more, and then we'll switch to Kieran. Hips. He's taking a video for her.
Hips.
All right. Okay, let's do this last one. Yep. Let's get a bit of black. And yeah, they're losing the plot already.
It's a benefit and a downside of me. I work well in groups. I can like move, but then it can be a bit much.
It's good. No, it's good today. I'm enjoying it.
It breaks awkwardness.
Yeah. We don't. That's the one thing. You don't want it to be awkward.
A whole bunch of strangers in a room.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like strangers. So
No.
the other cool thing here, if I switch, like you'll see quickly just how much what I'm talking about. Like there's a lot that's happening, and like Nick's not having to do too much because her legs are doing it. Like just shifting her body weight a lot there is doing a lot of the work. I hope that works. Just making sure OBS is still working. Sorry. It's not having another wig out. Boom. Yep. Cool. Yeah, and you can see she's moving her hands a lot as well, which is great. It looks quite nice. Sorry, I'll pick the mic up whilst I'm talking. And she's flipped her hair, and that's great because it's like you can see a lot happening. And she's moved, like there's a little bit of back to us there. Like I'm not having to work too hard to get those shots because Nick has this down pat. But it just gives you an idea of just like what's kind of going on in terms of like. Someone's flicking around. And we'll now get Kieran to kind of do a different look now. We'll do. I mean, with men again, I never find it quite as dynamic. Mainly because like the kind of shapes you look for with guys are much more like they're more. I guess like what's the word? Like they're like strength almost. They're flex.
Nice.
All right. Sorry, not my laugh. God, it's evil. Okay, I'm gonna switch. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna switch.
Bicep.
Yeah.
Cool. That might be a little better. Just having a lapel instead. So I'm not having to. Sorry about the mess in the background there. That's now fixed here.
Don't forget hips.
Yeah, hips.
Skip the hips. Skip the hips.
That's a good one.
So I'm going to shoot from back here so we can kind of see Kieran as well. So I'm where I am with the camera is literally just above Kieran. So you're seeing what I'm seeing from my angle. Again, maybe like I want to, that's nice, and you can kind of see as well, like because we've got the grey shirt and we're like we can get quite a bit of shape here because it's grey. The thing is, it picks up a lot of like texture, and as you can see, like we're trying to make him, we're trying to give him shape without it looking to like there's something going on. Like it's not just like him just standing there brooding. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, when we get Kieran in front of the camera, the room gets very quiet. But yeah, you're getting the idea, guys. Like I just want to show like, and yeah, it's like the other thing as well is like, again, what I want you to do is like, yeah, just show them the difference here, where a different flexing, like yeah, like I'm just going to show you that on the actual camera. Like it makes a huge amount of difference. They're just pulling in still, so it won't be too long. Hips, 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 hips. So yeah, like the difference, just like the way you kind of stand looks. It's like chest, no chest, chest, no chest. Yeah, before and after photo. Before the gym, after the gym. That's my. No, it's fine. It's my cord. See, it's been trodden on. It's been trodden on so many times. I don't think it's going anywhere. And what we'll do here now as well is we'll get a little bit more movement in terms of like left and right, like yeah. So come around a bit more, like other side. I know it's not. Yeah, and yeah. Yep.
When you move your hips, people will start to call you Kieran. That was funny.
Kieran. Yeah, I get it now. God. Oh God. Yeah. All right. Let's see how. So I'm just bringing this up again so you guys can see what's kind of happening in camera as well. We're now being silly, but it's like we're moving. We like again with men. I feel like a lot of the movements are a little more subtle. We're like looking for a few variations. I feel like this is a bit country road, which is alright. Like that's kind of like where we're at. Definitely not as well lit. I think their stuff looks beautiful. Like not that Kieran's not. I just I think my lighting would need a couple of hours work.
I look good in a suit.
Yeah.
I swear.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Okay, so again, I'm from here, as you can see, guys. Just block. Get him back in focus. Boom. And just switch between the two as I take them. Boom. Yeah, so you guys can see kind of what's happening there.
Do you want me to hold this?
No, I think because we had the grey, not the white, we're getting a lot more texture than we would. The big thing with whites is because it absorbs so much light. There's not as much. Well, not absorbs. It's reflecting so much. It's hard. It doesn't give as much shape. So often we'll use black, whereas with grey, the grey we've got here, because we're already on an angle and everything, we're not having to work as hard to create shape. As you can see, there's already a lot of texture across his shirt and stuff, and anything more would probably be a little too much. Thanks, Nick. Just it was a good point. Her asking whether she needs to hold the flecky or the flag, I should say, because it's absorbing light. But yeah, like we're cutting already quite a lot. Alright, after this, guys, we're gonna wrap there. So if you have any questions, now's the time. Happy to answer them. I'll get a little tighter now. Boom, boom. As you can see, it's like that. I really liked that one. Yeah, like that's kind of cool. It looks kind of nice. And yeah, if I'll give you 2 minutes and then we'll wrap. If there's any questions. Ooh, blue steel. Oof. The watch. If we got the face in it, it'd be nice. If we got the right angle. Yeah, it's just gonna catch. No, it's all right from that one. 3. 3, 3, 3. All right. Still hear me? Yeah, actually, that's a GB's just asked if you guys jump in because we'll do a few questions and we can switch. Sorry again about the sound.
Oh
yeah, sorry guys. Sorry, switching mics is not an easy way to do with this this app quite yet. These, yeah. All right. Okay, I'm gonna stand in the middle here. And if you need a minute, you can do that in a minute. So middle camera. So if let's check the sound coming through yet. No, it's not for some reason. Give me a second. Come on, sounds 1, 2. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Jonathan, I will answer your question second. G, so I'll answer yours first. So if there was what stuff you wish you could tell photographers? Like, because we're sometimes pretty careful. Like, yeah.
I think feedback.
Yeah.
Because models, the worst thing is shooting with a photographer who doesn't say, yeah, that's good, oh great, that's great, or can you move your head this way? Like, if you don't know what's going on, how it's going to look, if the angle's right, if you actually look good, it's the worst feeling. So feedback is critical in my opinion, and feedback makes the shoot.
Yeah, it definitely helps. But I'll let Kieran answer before I start speaking.
I'm about the same, because sometimes you'll see yourself and like the photographer knows the direction or what their end product is, and you're just trying to deliver your best, but you never know what the best is. So it's always I'm always trying to be a perfectionist and give what the photographer wants, but if they're not communicating if it was good or bad, I'm always second guessing myself, and I'm just like, bit of a panic.
Yeah.
So communication is key, just like in relationships.
Yeah. He's right, and I think the other thing there as well that's really important is like you want them to feel good about what's happening as well, and I think that's a key one. It's like, and if something's not working as well, like I tend to even if I feel like this, it's people get very in their head and see themselves certain ways, and often it's really hard to get them to kind of relinquish that, and that can be one of the hardest things if you're on a shoot with someone and you're trying to give them direction and they're just not getting it. I tend to go, switch it up. I tend to go, that's me, I'm just not getting what I want, or I can't figure out what it is I'm missing. That's usually my answer, and it often is, normally is me anyway, but I think that's a key one, because otherwise it's like you're looking around, you're pushing someone's how someone's feeling about themselves down, and that's gonna make your shoot harder, not easier. I've seen dummy spits from like commercial photographers. There's some famous ones on the internet. I'm sure you've all heard about difficult photographers. With model release forms, honestly, it's okay. So copyright in Australia, the copyright stays with the photographer. The release form is only really needed if you're going to use them for commercial usage or you're going to print them. If you're using them for portfolio usage, generally speaking, you're covered. Generally speaking, I put like a little bit of copyright at the bottom of my brief saying like, use these in your portfolio, they're going in mine. If there's any issues with that, please talk to me first. And generally speaking, that's fine. If there's a photo a model really doesn't like, I don't want them to feel bad about themselves. The laughing photo. I'm not going to use it. Like but yeah, that's a key one for me. I find release forms are often just they're a form. I think they're a bit of an archaic formality. My only concern is that I've young models who aren't necessarily experienced. I will use the word influencers, especially. I've had my images end up in the Daily Telly, and where else? In ads, where I've not given them release for that. And they've just gone to the influence, or brands have gone directly to the influence, and they've just used those images without talking to me first. It's a hard one because you're going to burn the bridge with someone by going after it. I generally say it's worth going after, but it really does depend on what it is and what bridge you're burning. Usually it's PR companies that usually should know better who I would go after. Or papers who haven't sought permission, or magazines who haven't sought permission, because I leave my name in the photo for a reason, and that's a key one that does help as well. I just stick my name at the end of each photo, and that, generally speaking, kind of like sorts out a lot of communication issues of where the credit and copyright lies. Just check if anyone else has any questions. No, looks like you guys are all good. There's one last thing, feedback I would leave you guys with. It's just like, make sure everyone's comfortable, talk a lot, communicate a lot, brief in advance. I think briefing is a key one. I'm all about a model getting a brief, and I gotta admit, like a lot of talent these days will say, I haven't seen a brief in a while, or I don't normally get one, and I think that's such a shame, because you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like you're not going to get the photos that you're really going to like, because you're leaving it to chance whether they happen or not, because the models can't read your mind. You might have references ready on the job, but I do think it's important to kind of get them beforehand, because it allows them to understand what you're trying to communicate and create beforehand, rather than waiting till after the fact or waiting them to get to set. Clothes are an important one. If you don't have a stylist, I think it's really important to have a list of what to bring, especially if someone's really new. The funniest piece of feedback I get is, because my looks, because it's someone's personal wardrobe, it's quite vague. It's like white shirts, black shirts, like a white bra, so if you're shooting a white top you can't see it, or and that sort of thing. Like even that kind of stuff can often be really important. If you're shooting swim, it's like at least 4 swimsuits, for example, can be an important one, because someone might just rock up in what they're wearing and expect an entire shoot to just be one look, and that's on you. That's not their fault. That's your lack of briefing, and I think that's really, really, really crucial. Don't leave it too much to chance. Do what you can, and we'll be back next week with more, and we will hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, not have any more technical issues. And I just want to say thank you guys. And yeah, I will put the briefing document in the description below when the video goes up a little later. Thank you so much, and when I figure out how to turn this off, in 3, 2, 1, have a good night.
Bye.
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 Bye.